here's your heads up to this 5-minute quickie. You know, when you say something which you know is not quite right, and your best mate calls you out, it's a real bummer, isn't it? But there's a reason they do it. And there's a reason when you take on that being called out and explore it, your world expands magically. Have a listen to what I've got to say. I think you'll find it, well, hopefully you'll find it interesting. See you in a minute.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hello, unpluggers. Unpluggers, eh? Well, it's Paul here, and as you can hear, I've still got this croaky old voice. And I recorded the last one a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but a few days ago. And this is hanging on. So I hope you like it. I hope you think it's sexy. I don't know why I'd want you to think it's sexy, but anyway, this FMQ. Have you ever heard the saying, you can feel, don't do that. You can fool some of the people all of the time. And some of the people you can fool some of the time. And that's an awesome trick to do. A real awesome trick. Be able to fool people. Not. Absolutely bloody not. But you can, you see. You think you can. You think you can fool people. Because, you know, you say the words. Yeah, I'm fine. Things like that. Now, we've talked about this before. Communication, the words are only a very small percent. Doesn't matter what they argue about it, it's between 5 and 10%. That's what the words mean. And then there's tonation. That catches you out. And then you've got that physiology, that non-verbal communication with your body. That's what lets you down. That's how you can't fool anybody. You know, we try, but we can't. And the thing is, there's one person that you really try to fool, or we're going to talk about me now. You know, maybe you and me. Is there one person in your life that you will try to fool? And doesn't matter what happens, there'll always be a time when you think you can fool it or fool them. And that's ourselves, isn't it? We try to fool ourselves. And the stupid thing is, you know, the most obvious thing is if you're trying to fool yourself, you know you're doing it. But we still do it. I don't get it. And the thing is, basically, when you fool yourself, I believe that's just like an excuse. Just an excuse for not doing the things that you know you should do or you should do differently. And you see, if you ever get called out on that BS that you're trying to sell yourself, you've got nowhere to go. And that's why it's a real bummer. A real bummer when a mate of yours calls you out on your, you know, on the things you're saying. But that's what a good friend does, isn't it? That's what a good friend does. I had a friend like that. And we would just chat and I'd say something and he would just call me out in the most nicest way. And he wouldn't let me off the hook either. You know, because I'd make another excuse. And he'd go, not really, Paul. Come on. What's this about? What are you really feeling or what are you thinking? And in the end, I had to admit it. Or just to admit I didn't sometimes know. My sons are very good at this, but they know me too well. You know, they listen to me and I just see in their eyes and they're smiling. That's what calls me out. But then again, I do this with clients. And I say, you know, I call it the clinic, but it's not a clinic. We don't have patients and things like that. You know, in my little old hypno room, that's what I like to call it, the hypno room, where magic happens. It's not magic, it's magical. In that hypno room, the clients come along and they'll tell me stuff. And I really have to call them out in the nice way, with a bit of empathy, with a little bit of compassion, but get them to, well, I'm going to go where we're going to take them to. Because even on my coaching calls, and I'm doing coaching calls online, even if I can't be in the room, I'm not, because sometimes you get that feeling, the energy in the room, you can get it from there, but you can just get it. And you call these people out saying, isn't it time you started telling me the truth? Or not telling yourself, these excuses, these lies, because you're telling lies to yourself, I guess. But it's time to be honest. And that was my meta header type thing. Just being honest with ourselves. And it's difficult to do. I understand that. But the thing is, in effect, when you do tell these fibs, these lies, these excuses to yourself, you're just putting things off. And when you put things off, like the snowball running down that hill, they just tend to get bigger and bigger. Until sometimes then, when you do get called out, it is really embarrassing. And why wait? Because if you know, you know. That's what you know. And sometimes, we can rely on our good friends. But why should we ask or expect our good friends to risk that friendship on calling you out? That was the other thing I made a note of. They want to do that for you and you want to do it for them, but there's that risk. And sometimes I don't think that's fair. You see, there's a thing we call cause and effect. The cause is greater than the effect. And you see, when you live your life at the effect side of life, and you start making excuses because it was them that did it. I couldn't do that because this happened, or this is happening, or I can't do this. No, you're living at the effect side. When you come back to the cause and recognize where you exactly are, what you want to do, and you're going to take responsibility, commitment, that's when you become empowered. And when you become empowered, then the whole of you knows. Your unconscious knows. Your subconscious knows. You're aligned. You're aligned to your goal. And what's the goal? Just an aim. Just an aim in mind. But when you have it in mind that you're going to do that and commit to it, you become your own friend. You got your best friend inside, but you've got your friend of a friend calling yourself out and saying, whoa, come on, that's not right. What is right? Let's get to the cause of this. Let's skip away. Let's blow away all the fluff, the mist, the smoke, the mirrors, and all that type of stuff. And let's just come back to it. Because when you do that, it does feel really good because you can take control. You're not dodging. You're not ducking and diving. You become the friend that you really want and you have inside. And you know what? Then we can go, yay, I've got what I need. And then it's not a bummer anymore when you call yourself out because you know you're doing it for that wonderful good reason, just as your other friends do. And then when you start to talk to them, they get it too. And you just become more aligned in the world, more congruent with your ideas. So then that small percentage of words mean what they are intended to say. The tonation that comes through is absolutely rock solid, smack on to the words. And your physiology is aligned 100%. You become who you really are, singing from your real voice, showing people who you really are. Yeah, we might be wrong occasionally, but hey, it doesn't matter because we're going to learn from it. So that was just a little thought. It was basically I just had this little memory of my mate Pete, who used to just pull me up, and I used to think, oh, Pete, you are. No. But I knew he would say it with a smile on his face. And in fact, the reason I thought about that is because my son Luke did the same to me just a couple of days ago and just called me out on something and just looked and smiled. And I thought, yeah, I've got to take responsibility for this. Start looking at it through a different pair of eyes, through eyes that can see clearly, inner eyes, and then make some really good decisions. So I thank everybody who has pulled me up in the past. Going to try to do my best. How about you? Because then we don't have to fool anybody any of the time. Because we just, I'm Paul. That's just a name, but I know who the real Paul is inside. And then you could be your real you. And that would be awesome. And then you can share it. Share the real you to everyone you meet. Make their day. Leave them better than when you met them, in a better place. That's awesome. And then you can say, oh, by the way, let me share this podcast to you. It's Paul at Personal Development Unplugged. Did you notice how I just weave that in? Yeah, it's very subtle. I don't know if you noticed it. But it's a great thing to share, especially this podcast. Let's just make it bigger and bigger so we can have so much fun together. And remember that blooming old feedback. Come through to me on an email. The email address doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't even go into my list if you send me an email through feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. It just comes in to me personally and I'll reply. Not a problem. And then everything else about it. And just remember to just subscribe if you could on your platform of choice, because the more that you subscribe, the better it goes, and that platform will spread the word of Personal Development Unplugged too. And we can just have more fun than we can stand. And let me know what you like to hear, what you like to hear about. Maybe that's a better way of putting it, Paul. Maybe there's a subject, maybe there's a issue, maybe there's an emotion that you'd like to let me explore with you, and come up with some ways that we can find really good ways to get what you want. And that will help me, that will help my clients, when they come to the clinic, the hypno room where magic happens. Anyway, up until then, do that email now. Do share. Do subscribe right now. Go on, go. And until then, have more fun than you can stand. And I'm thinking about doing a surprise email. Have to see what happens. But are you on my email list? You know where to go. paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Sign up there, get all the hypnosis tracks, and you never know what might happen in the next few days or weeks. Okay? So until then, just be you. And know when you are you, you're even more than what you feel and are right then. Because that's what you are. Perfect in every way. Bye-bye now. I'll speak to you soon. Bye. If you're suffering from things like anger, excessive anger in your life, too much sadness that keeps recurring and recurring, fear of anything, or just grieving too much about loss, maybe you're jealous, or maybe your self-confidence it's never high enough. Or like your self-esteem, that's never high enough. And it should be. And you shouldn't have to suffer through anger, sadness, fear, grief, jealousy. Do you know what? I hadn't thought about this for a little while, but why don't you come and work with me? Because, I've told you before that I work online, I do coaching, I do therapy online, but I've never really thought about offering it directly to you. So why not? Don't listen to what other people say when they say, things take such a long time, because they don't. 2-3 sessions is generally all that's needed to get rid of some of the biggest problems in people's lives. I see it day in, day out with my clients. So if that's something you can consider, because I do know this, that we always put things off. We put things off, and then we'll go to that bit where we go, oh, if only I did. So here's the thing. Imagine that putting off has gone by and you've decided to send me an email. An email at feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com saying, hi Paul, I've got this issue. I'd like to work with you. And here's my telephone number. Here's my email address. And the thing is, what would happen is we get in contact over the internet, online. We do an initial consultation. It doesn't take very long to make sure that we're a good fit and make sure you're really comfortable with me. I know you've listened to me a lot, but you really want to see the whites of my eyes. And let me explain how we work together. And if that is right, and it's right for you, and I want to make sure it's right for you, I don't work with just anybody and everybody, only the people who I feel I can really help. Then we'll organise 2 or 3 sessions and get the thing sorted. Okay? So why not send me that email now? Don't think any longer. Stop. Get online. Give me an email. And let's do some work together. If you really are interested in making deep changes, I really always suggest one-to-one. Yes, this Personal Development Unplugged podcast gives you all the tools, but let's get rid of the deep underlying issues so you can really make use of all the tools here. Anyway, that's enough from me. If you want it and you want to let go of that stuff really quickly, and you like me, and you'd like to work with me, then send me that email. If it's not for you, that's fine. Just keep listening and keep sharing. Okay? Anyway, I'll hear from you real soon, I'm sure. See you now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.